We're here today with Brittany Thompson out of Birmingham, Alabama. She is an amazing investor, an amazing inspirational educator as well, which we're going to talk about that too. But she's just an inspiration for everything. I always start off this question with, how did you end up here? Like, what did you do in the past? Like, how did Brittany Thompson end up being a real estate investor in the position he's currently at?
That's such a broad question, Daniel.
Well, okay. And the reason why, so like for me, I'm a truck driver. Matt, to my right or left, depending on what side he's on, he's a producer, TV producer. So like we kind of came from different facets and we kind of fell into real estate in some fashion. So like, where'd you start?
Okay. Well, I'll spare you the first 25 years of my life. How about that?
I mean, that's as old as I am. I mean, I'm only 29. I don't know. You can start at any point.
Okay. Well, here's a little bit. I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan. I moved to Alabama when I was a little girl and pretty much been raised by my mom. She was a single mom for most of my youth till she met my dad. We moved probably middle school, high school. And I just really witnessed everybody work. You know, I just really saw when I saw success, I saw my parents working or I saw my family working. And I just remember a season where I was just kind of tired. And I just, I don't know, maybe it was a book I read. Maybe it was my great aunt who would take me with her when she would do her run. She was the entrepreneur. So whenever if she was gonna sell some candy or some eggs or something, I was right there with her because my mom was working. And I don't know, just that inspiration for me between seeing my mom work hard and then seeing my aunt, you know, basically grind and build her business. It put me in a position post college of just looking for something else. For lack of better words. And so I looked and looked. I went from multi-level marketing to insurance, to makeup, to supplements, to you name it. I've tried it because I was just trying to fulfill an itch. You know, I knew that we needed money. We needed to earn an income to live, right? But I also just was never quite satisfied with the 9 to 5. Like I was never just a clock hitter. You know what I'm saying? So I remember this like yesterday, my very last W-2, I was working as a digital sales rep for a major company. If I said y'all know, but the premise of this day, and I talk about this a little bit when I share my story, but the premise of this day, I'm married, newly married. We've got young kids and my husband's working and I wanted to help. You know, I'm always been wanting to contribute to the household. And I remember getting up, getting dressed, fighting traffic, fighting rush hour to drop my kids off at daycare. Really didn't like that. Really not about that life, but that's what I thought I had to do to get to work, where actually I had to park at a church and get shuttled to my work office where there was only parking spaces for the executive. So I was good enough to bring in some income, some sales, but I wasn't necessarily good enough to be able to park at my office building and walk to the front door. And I remember going through a rah-rah session and sitting down and going to pick up the phone. And we had been pumped up, you know, make sales, make contacts, call up complete strangers and tell them you're going to get them, you know, da-da-da-da-da. And when I went to pick up the phone to talk to somebody, I remember just feeling like an overwhelming elephant sitting on my chest. I felt like this, like I couldn't catch my breath. I'm developing the nervous triggers, shivers. You know, I feel like I've got 4 eyeballs. I'm looking around. I see, back in the day, we used to call it a farm, but it's basically rows and rows of cubicles. And that's where we sat at to make our sales calls. And I'm like internally screaming, somebody let me out. Please, I want to be free. I got to get out of here. I'm tired. I can't do it anymore. And then people start looking at me. My coworkers are like, oh my gosh, are you okay? Heck no, I'm not okay. This isn't normal. We're not meant to live like this. And I don't know if it faded to dark or what, but next thing I remember is being rushed in an ambulance to the hospital. And I remember laying on my back and they're saying, Brittany, are you okay? And they thought I was having a heart attack. I was having a severe panic attack. I had just gotten to the point where I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I didn't want to do it anymore. I couldn't, it hurt, it physically hurt. And I laid back and I looked up and I said, God, please, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know where I went wrong. I don't know, but if you would get me out of this environment, if you would place me where I'm supposed to be, I will go all in. I will give it everything I've got. I won't look back. And I remember in that moment being discharged from the hospital saying, that's my last day doing it that way. And so I scrolled late at night. It was maybe 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm on my couch and I'm just like, how to make a bunch of money fast. And that's like the worst thing anybody can do in YouTube.
What else popped up besides real estate?
I don't know. I plead the fifth. But
Forex. It was Forex, wasn't it?
Say that again.
I said it was Forex.
No, and I tried that too. I feel like I might have made like $5 or like 100. I don't know, but it wasn't good enough for me to stay. I don't like being risky like that. But I came across an ad about how to make, I think it was 12K in 37 days. And I tell you, I just jumped in with both feet and I said, I don't know what this is. I'm going to figure it out. And my family, we're going to have breakthrough. So that's how I got into real estate.
That's quite a story. I mean, you had a physical reaction to your 9 to 5. That's quite an indictment of, you know, what it says about your spirit, about wanting to do something else and not feel like that you're just kind of punching a clock and going through the motions and all those things. Like, did you feel like in that moment, I understand it's tough if you're having a panic attack that severe, but you know, kind of going back to that moment, it just felt like you kind of had to get out, right? Like there was something more, there was something you could fulfill a greater purpose. And it kind of, is it weird? It kind of manifested itself in a very physical reaction.
Yes, it was wild to experience, because when you're going through that, you know, the first thing I was thinking was, what the heck is going on? What's wrong with me? Like, I know how this goes. I'm supposed to be okay with doing life this way. There is no other way, not for you. You can't get out. This is the commitment for the rest of your life. You hit a clock and you help. You be a helper. And that was a really major limiting belief that I had to overcome. The fact that I can be an entrepreneur and I can be a successful wife, I can be a successful mom, and I can be a successful businesswoman.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think a lot of people, they feel like they're too busy to do things. And I think when I like talking to different types of entrepreneurs too, because you were a mom at the time when you went into entrepreneurship, which is like, yes. all the moms out there are like, you're crazy. How could you do that?
What's wrong with you? Family too, friends too.
Oh yeah.
You got a good job. Get it together.
Like, I plan on it.
Exactly. Look at me.
Exactly. And how long have you been in real estate now?
This is, my first deal was in 2016. So this is 22, 6 years, 7 years, 7. I don't know.
Six.
Six. This is my 7th year in it, but it's my 6th year since I've done my first deal. That
is amazing. That is amazing. That's quite a journey. So you've been in real estate longer than both of us, me and Matt. Because I've only been 3, and I think Matt's been about 2 to 3 as well.
Man, that's wow.
So let's jump back to 2016. You get into real estate. Okay, so you have a physical reaction to your 9 to 5. This is not great, right? And you know you have something else more inside of you, more you can accomplish, more you want to do. Let's walk through kind of the early stages of real estate. And did you have a mentor? Did you kind of figure it out on your own? Like, what did you do to jump in and kind of say, you know what, we got to start somewhere, and where was that somewhere?
Great question. So once I watched the video, it was specifically at that time, it was geared toward wholesaling. And I thought, man, this is a scam. You have to own this house. How in the world? And I remember taking the first, I found this in the fall. So I took like the first summer, fall, took like the first 6 months. I took the first 6 months. And I mean, I just saturated my mind with all of the different tactics and strategies and gurus. I mean, everybody's got a shiny thing, a way of doing it. And what it was is I had acquired so much information, I couldn't do anything because I was like, what if I do this wrong? Or what if I say this wrong? Or what if my paperwork doesn't look good? You know, all of these what ifs that I had essentially created, you know, within my mind. And I remember having just a resolve. I had just, you know, been researching and watching, and my husband's been patient and my kids. And I'm like, you know what, forget it. I'm just going to pick one way of doing this, you know, no coach, no mentor. You know, I think I opted for a program, and, you know, I feel bad for saying this. I had a payment plan. I made the first payment and I didn't make the next one because I couldn't afford it. Like, I think it was like $100. And I said, I'm just going to commit to do X. And at that time, X was bandit signs, right? Which, you know, they're bandit signs. They're called bandit signs. It's because they're not lawful. People say they're not legal. Politicians use them, but we can't. That's neither here nor there. That's just what I use. And I remember, it's so funny because we've got pictures, and it's my husband and I and our kids, and we've got these yellow, oh my gosh, it's crazy to remember. We've got these yellow bandit signs that the house reeked of black permanent marker. Because we're just sitting there, we're drawing houses, we're drawing money signs, we're just relentless in this pursuit. And my husband's still working, and they said, what the people on the YouTube said, you got to go out at the crack of morning at like 2:00 in the morning, you've got to put out 50 bandit signs. And I remember going for like 6 weeks, just every week, just putting out 10 or 12 between the hours of midnight and 3 or 4 o'clock. Sometimes I'm out there by myself. Sometimes I recruited my parents because they were like, why is my child driving in the middle of the night to go put up signs in places she should not be after 10 at night? And I remember the feeling of seeing my first bandit sign get smashed. Like, it's like somebody took a sledgehammer with an attitude and they were just like hammering it. This is what I visualized. And I was like, why would somebody take time out to mess with my sign out of all of these? And I was so filled with offense. And I was talking to my mom. I said, Mom, I'm getting a couple calls, but it's not working. And she said, baby, why don't you just put them out where you stay, honey? I said, no, the people that I'm trying to get, they're on the other side. They're in East Egypt, 30, 45 minutes away. I said, but I'll try it. And I'm kidding. I'm serious. No sooner I put out signs in my own backyard, I got a phone call. And when I got the phone call, the property was actually less than a mile away from where I was at that day. And I got on the phone with this. I had no script. Like, I didn't know what I didn't know. And I remember answering and saying, hey, I saw your sign, you buy houses. And I was like, hey, I sure do. How can I help you? And he gave me a story, and basically he's just a retired landlord wanting to sell his last property and move out of state to be with his grandkids. And I just had a real conversation. And he said, well, I tell you what, go check out my property. There's a tenant in it, and give me a call and let me know what you think. I went in there, didn't know what to look for, didn't have a construction budget, didn't have a template for repairs, didn't know what to say and what not to say. I mean, I'd been in insurance, so I knew how to make people feel warm and welcome, but I didn't know. And I came out of that house, and I don't even know how I got the asking number. No, I made an appointment to sit down with the homeowner. I didn't know that much. And I said, what do you want for it? And he told me something like 27 or something. And I was like, all I can do is like 17. I didn't know. I was just shooting in the dark. And we settled at like 22. And so I'm like, oh my God, I've got a contract on this property that I'm supposed to buy. And I have no idea. I don't know how to do this. How am I supposed to sell it? how am I supposed to sell my contract? How am I supposed to do it the right way? Can I sell this contract? What can I say? Do I put out an ad? Like all these question marks. Sorry, I'm rambling, but this is the play-by-play here. And I remember going to my local real estate investment meeting, and there was this guy, Mr. Pat, bless his heart. He's like the patience of Job. He's like, Brittany, you can do this. I think that no matter where anyone is in their real estate journey, there is nothing like having somebody speak life into you and tell you, hey, you may not know where you're going, you may not know what you're doing, but you can do this. And I'll never forget Mr. Pat, because he will always encourage me. Even though I didn't know what I didn't know, he would just say, Brittany, you were made for this. You got this, girl. And I didn't quit, because when you quit, you don't win. That's how it goes. And through networking, I got connected with another young lady who happened to have a buyer. Didn't know anything about JV, didn't know any of that. I said, I got this property. I can't find a buyer. I've had it for like 45 days. The homeowner is really nice, but I need to close soon. And she called a meeting. We all sat there, her buyer and me. And I said, look, if you help me, if you buy this property between she and I'll give you whatever spread, 50-50. And we worked it out. And that was my first $1,646.50. And I sat in my car and I cried. Because I remember thinking, oh my God, I can do this. This works. This is going to change. This is going to change our family's life.
That is what an incredible story. And there's two big things I took from that. One is you didn't let the fear of the unknown stop you from jumping in. And a lot of times people get stuck in analysis paralysis, and you want to read all the things, watch all the videos. And I'm guilty of that sometimes too. I do a lot of land deals, and sometimes I'm guilty of that. And you said, you know what, I'm going to jump in. I'm not really sure what I'm doing, but you jumped in head first, and look what happened. You got a contract. And another thing, you didn't try to do some fancy script, or you just had a conversation with somebody who was interested in selling. And I think a lot of times that goes a long way with just having a real person-to-person conversation instead of trying to rehash or, give some spiel and some slick thing about, hey, I can do this, I can do that. You're just like, you come from a place of service. What can I do to help you? What are you looking for, and how can I help you? Period.
That's how I do business. Simple.
Well, to do that from deal one is pretty rare. So I think you jumped in right away and leading with service, and you got a deal. Guess what? You go to your RIA, you connect with some other local investors, meet up with somebody who brings you a buyer, you split it, and now you got your first check. And that, you get the proof in the pudding right there. I mean, that's a really powerful moment for any investor, anybody's first deal, to see that first check, no matter what it looks like. It's a lot of hard work, and it's proof that you can do this. I love these stories. That's a great story.
Thank you, Matt. It's funny, even up until the closing date, sitting at the table, because you don't know if you're supposed to double close or the buyer is supposed to come in before the homeowner. And I was just waiting, like, oh crap, I'm gonna get in trouble. like taking the close attorney's check that he gave me and taking it to their bank instead of mine, because I couldn't believe I did something like this, that it was okay, like me, and walking out with it sounds really bad, walking out with like a little bag of money. It's so ridiculous now, but in that season it was like, is this okay? It's like Ashton Kutcher gonna come out and say you're busted, or it's like, what? Oh, it was such a beautiful moment. And
well, sometimes it's better when you don't know what you don't know, right? And sometimes when you don't overthink things and you take action, you're not always going to take the right action, but it's better than inaction. And to do that and take one step in front of the other and just get your first deal done is, it's a testament. And for all the success you've had, from there till now, we'll fill in the gaps here as we go along. But that's a really incredible first story. And, I love to hear it. And you get the first check and you're so happy, and you did it, and there's more to come, and you got that first win in the books, and you just kind of go off to the races from there.
That's it. That's what happened. And there was a lot of personal development that happened earlier on. I think my next deal, I didn't get to the next year. Like, you would think once you accomplish something so big and just, instrumental in life, you think, oh my God, I can do this next week. And for me, it was, wow, this is great. And then I went back to it, it's like I couldn't close a door to save my life. No matter who I talked to, no matter what contract I picked up, and I remember getting an email through Meetup, and it was an out-of-state investor, and she said, I'm investing in this area, Esther. I'm investing in Birmingham, and I really need somebody that could be my boots on the ground. And I joke about it now, but I said, she doesn't know that if it wasn't for her, there would be no Get My First Deal. I would have quit because I just got so tired. I don't know if it's harder to try to get your first deal and think this doesn't work, or to get your first deal and then no deals work for like a period of time. And you're like, was that a fluke? I know it's possible, but how do I do this again? What's my blueprint? I didn't have a blueprint. So yeah, it's a big part of the growth journey and figuring life out.
What do you do to push through that? You know, you have a hard time getting your second deal. Walk us through the space. You said there was a gap of time between the two. What did that look like? And what did you do to kind of keep yourself mentally sharp and not try to talk yourself into quitting or doing something else, or letting kind of negative thoughts start to creep in and take over?
Great question. So after I'd done my first deal, okay, that was 2016. So much happened between that year and 2017. I actually applied to ministry school because I just felt led to do that. Not only that, but throughout my journey, what I'd seen in the market was there were a lot of people, and there's no shade to this, but there are a lot of people in the information business, in the education business. So there was, especially in our town, there was, I won't mention them, but basically people coming in saying, hey, we'll show you how to do real estate, give us 40 grand, mortgage your house, max out your credit cards, get somebody to co-sign for you, all these things. And I remember coming home, we had been through financial devastation. So we did not have the credit. We did not have the cash. Like, we were basically living to make ends meet. And we never had the option to go into debt to invest in our our real estate investment journey. And I remember praying like, God, I need some help up in here. Like, where are my people at? I need a community. And I remember feeling like answered prayers, like an audible voice. You need to create what you need because you're not the only one who needs it. And that was the end of 2016, beginning of 2017. Also found out that I was pregnant with our third, right? And I had started a little YouTube thing called Lady with the Baby. This sounds really corny, but I promise you, I was just like trying to figure it out. And I would make calls and then have seller appointments and take my baby with me. And I would record. I'd like do a video or do a live. Hey, what's popping in Birmingham? Driving around, got my baby in the back. If I can do this, you can too. You can win, you can push. And I don't know that I believed every bit of it, but I knew that I needed to reinforce that. Because if there's somebody else feeling that way, like if there's a mom who wants to bring money into her household, or if there's a husband who's just tapped out where he is and he just needs an extra income, they need to see me. I don't know why, but they need to see me out here pushing it against the odds. And so within that time frame, the Wholesalers Roundtable was born. And it was a meetup. And it was a meetup so that I could sit around like-minded people that were learning just like me, but didn't want to get around and ask a stupid question, didn't want to feel chastised for not knowing, and didn't want to get beat upside the head with a sales pitch every 5 minutes. Like, I was vehemently against that. I get it now, but then I was just anti it. And so between that and having the relationship with the young lady that reached out to me via Meetup, because she saw my group, which is crazy. That's the only way I met her, is through Meetup. And she would send me deals. And it started off as, hey, I'll give you $100 for each contract, or 500, or take pictures for me. Now, the funny part about this is the reason that I left my last W-2 is because I didn't want to be managed. I didn't want to feel like I was working for somebody. And what I started feeling was a feeling inside, like I was going backwards to that same type of corporate setup. Like, I'm doing the same thing I just got away from. And I said, if I can do this crap for her, surely I live here. I can do this for myself. And I had a real conversation with her. I said, look, I appreciate you. I'm grateful for what you've invested in me. I'm grateful for the opportunity. You picked me up. You helped me get on my feet. But I'm in a position now where I want to step back into being that entrepreneur and running myself. And I don't want to alienate you because you were a part of my journey. So I don't mind continuously helping you while I get my stuff together. And to this day, if I needed something or if she needed something, it's a phone call or a text message. And that's how I believe it should be in business. If it's real estate or anywhere, you should foster those relationships. We should not be out here trying to get something from somebody or use something because it's transactional. We're not called to run a transactional business. We're called to build relational businesses. That's how we succeed. So that's how I got through.
Let's talk about Get My First Deal, because you kind of mentioned it a couple of times. I really like that it's your core focus, because it's what you do. It's what you even from the beginning, you wanted to inspire people to help people get past the fear of getting their first deal. So let's talk about that. When did that come about? And tell everybody about about your program starting in March.
Oh gosh, that's so funny. So what's interesting is during my journey of getting deals and getting confident, becoming more competent that I knew what I was doing, becoming confident that I can do it, and having the clarity. Like my husband and I are very big on vision, like write the vision, make it plain, and attract people and opportunities, to really expand on that and to help others. And with the Wholesalers Roundtable, it grew. As you all can imagine, we went from having 2 or 3 people to 100 in the library, and then COVID. It's like everything shut down. And I was like, we have so much momentum. There are so many hungry people that want this knowledge, and we can't even meet. And at that time, we were in a mastermind, and they were saying, you should be coaching. You've got the Wholesalers Roundtable, over 1,000 people and all these. There's no reason. And I was still fighting that anxiety that coaching is bad. Because that was my limiting belief. I want to give it away to people. I don't want to charge anybody to coach them. And there was a lot that happened with that. But what I understood is when people invest, when people pay, they pay attention. They take it seriously. They value it. Like I had done a ton of free meetings at coffee shops, and I would get the blues from my husband. They're like, why are you investing time enriching others and not charging them? And okay, I said, look, I got a heart for helping people. My bank account need to line up with that. My husband and I were sitting on the couch, and after some mentors of ours poured into us and said, B, do this. You can get a seat at the table. Like you are enough. You know enough to be able to help, even if you only know like a 7, you can help people that only know 6 and below. And it took me a while to digest that. And my husband and I were sitting on the couch, and we were just brainstorming, man, what can I be known? What niche can I be in? I want to be a coach, but I don't want to commit to 12 months because I might not like you. Like, you might not like me. I don't want your money and I got to coach you and we don't even peanut butter and jelly. Like, why do that? And it went from, I don't want to teach people to flip. I don't even like flipping. That's hypocrisy. I don't want to do that. And my husband and I looked at each other and we came up with Get My First Deal. And it was like, ooh, because we remembered how impactful it was for us when we got our first deal. And I know that if somebody can master those steps in the blueprint, they can either decide they hate real estate, they can decide it's a great part-time income, or they can be free and say, I want to build generational wealth for my family. And if I can have a hand in giving somebody a blueprint to walk them through, like this challenge I've got coming up in March, a 5-day challenge where I show people how to write down your goals, help them find their deal, help them get connected to the seller and get their deal, or homeowner, help them close the deal. And they now feel armed and can go anywhere with it and do it. I would feel so much satisfaction. In other words, I don't need 10 students pay me $100,000. I'd rather have 100,000 students that have gotten their first deal. And as a result, not only is their family impacted, but their community is impacted, but they can go and be a blessing to other people. That is impact to me. I hope I answered your question.
No, you did. And that's why I love it, because this is where, like, Hive Mind and Get My First Deal are aligned in that same way, because like we're trying to educate the masses. And of course, we want to give it out for free, but even then, we want to be as affordable as possible, because we were there struggling in the beginning where we didn't have the right information. It was hard to come by, and it was hard to come by who to trust. And then
Yes.
like you needed that inspiration, you needed that step by step, and it's just like, people get burnt out based off of their own shortcomings, and it might not even be their own fault. But if there's somebody in there to facilitate and make it happen where they can have confidence, they can overcome that fear, they can overcome the objections, they can overcome that confidence they need in the seller appointment, they have to overcome getting on that first phone call, getting that first contract, taking it to close, and just fulfilling all those parts of it. It takes a lot.
It does.
And it takes a lot of like-minded people to make that happen.
Yes.
Because if you tell your brother, your sister, your aunt, your mom, they're gonna think you're nuts.
Every time.
Every time. Just like you even said it earlier, your mom was driving you around doing bandit signs in the middle of the night because she was concerned about you because you're crazy.
I remember hopping out of the car, like running, like, let me stick it and run back because I might have heard a gunshot. Like, let me. This is gonna work. I just gotta stay committed. And she's like, you are freaking me out. Sit down.
That's amazing. So that I love this. So what's your program coming out first week of March? What's that pertain to? Is like a 5-day challenge or something?
Yes. So it really, all of this challenge has really originated within the past 3 weeks, maybe. All of this is new, the way everything came together. But the heart behind it is, it's like you mentioned, people want to get into real estate, but they're not really sure how. They're not really sure who they can trust. They don't really want to commit to getting a license because we all know there's fees associated with that. Not that there's anything wrong with that. They feel like I don't have the credit or the cash, or I need to know somebody in real estate to be successful. And the purpose behind this challenge is really to get people in alignment. First of all, this is not a hobby. This is business. Like, in the end of the day, we're working with attorneys. We're working with people who are trading their equity for quick cash, and a lot of times deeds, all kind of technical things. And the space between people wanting to invest in real estate because it looks sexy on HGTV or A&E or whatever, which it can and it does, but in real life, experiencing what it looks like to, find your market, get on the phone. Like, that's one thing that I'm guaranteeing in this challenge. You're gonna find a deal, you're gonna find an opportunity, and we're going to look, the only way you wouldn't be successful with at least connecting with a homeowner is if you don't even try. If you identify a property, and if you do the things I tell you to do to find them, and if you say what I tell you to say on the phone, you're gonna have success. And that's really what this challenge is about, is, like I said, helping people define their goal. Why are they doing this? Why real estate? Is that really where you want to be? Is this the avenue, the vehicle? What are you willing to surrender? In other words, what are you spending time on right now that you're willing to say, let me just give this 30, 90 days or whatnot, or 5 days? Or what is it that you want to add? Are you reading? We go through things as little as that to, okay, how many properties are you identifying? How many phone calls? Like, we're going so granular, and it's practical, because that's what people are missing, is the practicality. You can read all day long, but until you pick up this phone and say, hey, I saw your house. Is it your house? I really, would you be interested in an offer? Until you can have conversations and get cussed out, get hung up on, get bad numbers, like, you don't know if you want to invest in real estate. So why do I need to charge you $40,000? Yes, I say 40 because that's like a common number in this coaching. When people come to your city or whatever, it's like 40,000. So I don't know why. Anyway, do you need to pay that to decide whether you want to invest? Like, for real? No, you don't, man. Pay a couple dollars, enough for you to be invested, and try it. And if it works, let's go, baby. And once you get your first deal, I'm connecting you with somebody that's going to bless you, that's going to take you the rest of the journey. So that's what this challenge is about.
Which is an amazing challenge too. Half the deal is just half the problem is getting your first deal done, and then from there you get the confidence and grow, like we talked about before. Brittany, can you talk a little bit about some of the mindset issues that you work with, or first time investors, people looking for their first deal? What is it that you see that are kind of common pitfalls or things that might stop them up, that might be mindset oriented, and things you can help them with that might not be kind of technically real estate based?
That's such a good question. Actually, I was trying to look up, because I take notes of this, right? Like I'm always a student. I'm always learning on how to improve, how to be better at the craft. And some limiting beliefs that people have that we help address is not knowing enough. It's too risky. Oh my gosh, the market's saturated. I'm not ready. Like I can't invest in real estate. Like maybe there was a time in their youth where they suffered trauma and somebody said, they'll never be good enough to do anything. So we address that as much as we can the first day, right? Too old to start or learn something new, which is a lie. I mean, the Kentucky Fried Chicken guy was like 50 or 60, like, come on, that's not a good excuse. I need to know everything about real estate investing before I start. I might lose, this is a good one. I might lose credibility if I do it and I make a mistake amongst my peers, amongst others. This is overwhelming. There's so much information on the internet. And what I tell them is people, they do it on purpose. They know, like, come on, like, let's be realistic.
Self-sabotage.
Self-sabotage, it's a big one. Everything's gotta be paid up. I don't do that. I'm not social. I don't like talking to people. I'm an introvert. I've heard all kind of crazy stuff. And we just, at the core of it, it's three things. It's competence, it's confidence, and it's clarity. And when we address all of those three things, then we can be set free to do what we're really supposed to. We can put in the activity.
Man, that was good. Wow. Woo! That was hot. That was good. That was good. Okay, so that was a good question too, Matt. That's a nice one. So, what is a quote that you resonate with?
Come on.
Or quotes. Because I'm sure you got a whole notebook right there on the side, or it might be on the wall.
It's like a flood of stuff. Oh, babe, help! What's a Brittany-ism? I got like, it's funny. I had a social media guy say, send me 50 isms. I was like, bro, you have no idea what you're asking me. It's so funny. Oh, let me see. Man, that's a quote. Babe, help! I'm drawing a blank. You're not gonna help me? Oh, okay. I'll do this. When your vision is blurry, you can't see straight. Your activity will give you the ability to get in the right rooms. That's one that really resonated with me. People, I think, are so in love with being famous, and that it's no shade. Oh, I got a good quote. Oh, y'all gonna love this one. This is so good. Oh my goodness, this is so good. Oh, geez.
She pulled from the library. Stay tuned.
Affluence versus influence. That's a good one. Today's the 22nd. If you are uniquely gifted in your work, you will rise and be promoted. You won't be held back. You will stand before kings and queens. Like, I don't know about y'all, but a beautiful reputation is more to be desired than great riches. And to be esteemed by others is more honorable than to own immense investments. So I live, there's principles. Here's one. If you follow the principles, you have the right to participate in the promise.
Man. Yeah, I know you got another one. Yeah, you're on a roll here.
Oh, look. And now when I get off of this, I'm going to be like, oh man, this is a good one. Here they go. Geez, posting. Oh, yes. Oh yeah, I found them. It's on now, baby. Taking action. My goal with each seller is to be the solution for their situation. Truly, my goal when I talk to somebody on the phone is not to get a deal. My goal is to be a problem solver, and not in a cliche way, but in a real way. Change is inevitable. Progress is optional. Where there is a sense of expectation, there will be preparation. Obsess about the why before the what. Look, this is all too good. I'm not giving y'all no more.
Save something for your challenge.
You don't learn when you're talking, you learn when you're listening. So learn to listen. Proximity is power. Innovation is about seeing things from a different perspective. I don't have failures. I just have examples of what not to do. There's your challenge quote.
Nah, you're on a roll. I didn't even want to stop you. You're on a roll. And I know you had a library full.
I do. I'm looking at them.
I can tell you're that type of person.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing. It's just that it's when you hear a lot of inspiration, it comes out when you speak. And you've done it this whole podcast call. You're very inspirational when you talk, and you're a very good storyteller, and it comes across because what you ingest.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. My biggest desire is, no matter what room, no matter what call, no matter what form that I'm present in, that I always leave it better than I find it. Not that there's anybody or anything wrong, but yeah. I just want to live the impression of a blessing. That's the core of everything that I do, everything my family does. We always leave it better than we find it, or we at least strive to be excellent in that way.
Brittany, before we go, can you talk about one of your favorite success stories you had with a student? Maybe somebody that came looking for their first deal, you helped them out. Maybe they overcome something big, limiting beliefs, whatever it may be. Do you have kind of a favorite success story you can share with us?
I do. Actually, I actually interviewed him on our podcast, but this particular student, God, it was crazy. I used to do something called Power Hour, which is a daily success routine that I do, but I do it privately and not so much corporately. And it involves having a devotional, prayer, meditation, affirmation, and journaling every morning before the day starts. And while I was doing this live on my social media, my student's wife was watching. And I was talking about get my first deal. And she said, babe, you need to book a call with Brittany. And he did, and he was telling me how he had just taken this position for the railroad where he was going to be working 78 hours a week, inconsistent schedule, like he just didn't know what he could and couldn't commit because it was a new job and it was going to require so much time. And he was doing a lot of activity, but he didn't have a blueprint, like there wasn't structure. He wasn't monitoring, so he didn't have proper expectations. And I remember he said he had been working and trying to figure real estate out for like 9 months before meeting me. And once finding me, he did it in 90 days because he had a plan. He had somebody that's gonna keep him accountable. And the confidence, because as a coach, I understand that my students are borrowing my wisdom and my confidence. That's the big, when they believe in you, they trust you, right? So over the season of him adjusting, I think week 2, he had like 2 contracts because he was doing what I told him. The very same thing that I'm going to teach in this challenge is what I told him. I'm just condensing it in the challenge, right? But I remember some people think that buying the program or the course is what's going to make them successful. And I'm guilty of that in myself in the past. If I make this commitment to spend this $100 or $1,000, that I'm going to win. In reality, no, you're just investing in yourself and creating a hedge, like a reason, right? And we got down to the bottom of why he wanted to do this. And he told me his dreams. And I said, what I'm teaching you is a blueprint you can do this. Like you've got children and a wife. And I get that you want to get your first deal, but what I want you to understand is it's bigger than this. Once you master what I teach you, you don't know where it could take you. And his journey was just maintaining consistency. You can do anything for a day or a week, but can you do it for 12 weeks? Can you be the disciplined and consistent to do it? And I will say he was like 50%, but still got his deal because he understood the mechanics and stayed true to himself. And as a result, he got his first deal, multiple contracts. Now he's talking about development, like things that he would have never even entertained, 3 or 4 months ago. And I'm so proud of him.
And there's going to be many more success stories to come here, especially after your 5-day challenge.
I'm excited, y'all. I want to disrupt the industry with this because I get the sales and that aspect of it, but people just need a win. They shouldn't have to pay $1 million just to win. Just can we just help people win one time? Most people have never won, and they haven't won as a parent. They haven't won in their marriage. They don't see themselves winning as a sibling. Like people just need a W, a win. And when they get that confidence, oh my God, you can do anything. And not only specifically to what I'm doing, not only can you win and get the confidence, but now no one can just approach you saying any and everything because you know better. You're wiser. Walk with the wise and you'll become wise. That's the point of it.
No, it's good. It's really inspirational because a lot of people, they need that first win. The first win opens their eyes and they realize the possibility that they can excel into something and create a life around this one win. They can create a life around it, and it becomes possible, So it's an amazing ambition, and I want to help you do it. So, how can people find that challenge? Is it getmyfirstdeal.com? I'm guessing.
That's it. They need to go to getmyfirstdeal.com. They can catch a free masterclass that I put that lets them know about me and my teaching style. And if I resonate, just click the join the challenge button, and I see them on the other side getting this coin, baby, getting this education, getting free. More than anything, getting free. Folks just need to be free.
That's it. That's it. Where can people find you online? What's your Instagram, Facebook?
Yes. So all forms of social media, my tag is @TheRealBJT. You can my website is www.therealbjt.com. On Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Clubhouse, everywhere. But join the challenge.
Well, we appreciate you coming on. We appreciate Matt for co-hosting this one. Thank you so much, Brittany. It's an amazing episode. I hope you inspire a lot of people that even single parents, or not single parents, but parents that are transitioning into can do anything. Anything is possible. Limitless possibilities. You want to say something, Matt?
Absolutely. I think this is a really, really fun episode. Brittany knows how to get the best out of students who are early in their real estate journey. And getting that first win is huge, and kind of getting them over the hump to see what's really possible in this industry. So for that, I wish you all the best of luck, and look forward to speaking with you again and seeing the progress with you and your students. And I love your energy and your vibe, and you're off to a great start here in these first 5-6 years in real estate. And I can only imagine what's going to come here in the future. So best of luck to you and your family.
Thank you, Matt. You're amazing. And I'm sure that you're going to grow and be exponentially successful. You and Daniel both. Like, there are some things that this industry is about to get shook up.
Well, we definitely appreciate your time. And this has been a blast, and look forward to speaking again.